going weiter in Reish Pei Beis, in Likutei Moharan, Rabbi Nachman. Reish Pei Beis is the code word. When you get up to Shemayim, you knock on the door, just say Reish Pei Beis, like we discussed. And we basically been talking about judging people favorably, seeing not the wickedness in other people, but actually trying to see the goodness in other people. Because it's so easy to see the bad. But especially after Yom Kippur, the Jewish people, and really all of humanity, there's a certain feeling that I want to see the good. And we're stripping away the externals, we're stripping away the outside, we're stripping away the lower vibrations, we're stripping away those things that are not serving. And we just get back to that inner point. That's what Yom Kippur was. Just getting back to the point of what it's all about. Like a great teacher once told me, keep the main thing the main thing. Don't lose sight of the main thing. You know, in this world it's very easy to lose sight of the main thing. Don't lose sight of the main thing. Grab a hold of it. Grab a hold of the main thing. And the main thing is seeing the good. The main thing is having that correct perspective that many of us got in Yom Kippur. But once the physical world strips away, even just for 25 hours, and you finally get back to touching your soul, like we were talking about getting ready for Yom Kippur, and you touch that point of who I really am, when all the distractions of eating and drinking and different marital things and not wearing leather shoes, which really means that I control the world, because leather means I control the animal kingdom, I'm standing on top of the animal kingdom. Like the Rambam says, who's stronger, you or a lion? You know, I don't know, I wouldn't want to fight one, but who puts who into cages? Don't give me this Planet of the Apes stuff. Who puts who into cages? The Rambam says it's a proof that man was given a certain higher level of intelligence, because even though a blue whale could, eat us alive, chas v'shalom, we can put them into aquariums. So we don't have the leather shoes, and we don't have many other things. All of the washing and the bathing and the oils, it all has to do with purification and total physical identification. And for one day out of the year, we remove all of that. And all that's left is my soul. And is your soul good? It's the greatest good there is. There's nothing more pure than your soul. And all it wants is goodness. And because we're not monks, we live now with this new perspective of being the soul, and now we come back into the world. Isn't it a funny thing, Sukkot? We're going to talk about Sukkot in a few minutes. But now with this new perspective of who I really am, let's get involved in the world. I always think it's a very special thing that Sukkot always comes after Yom Kippur. You know why? Because on Yom Kippur you become so pure, you become so holy. But then what happens right away? You're engaging in this world. Right away. So the first thing that happens is everyone's talking about, so where are you going to put your sukkah? And I park my car there and this, and everything's like, sukkahs, and all of a sudden you're very much involved in people again. So you want to see that everything that happened on Yom Kippur is that you're going to hold on to that consciousness. You're going to keep that of who you really are, because that really is who you are. But right away after Yom Kippur, we get involved totally in the physical world. Building a sukkah. You know how many hours I was in the sun yesterday? I'm sore. Good thing I take my vitamins. But wow. I was like, schlepping the boards up and hammering, and I'm like, interesting positions. Good thing I got the TRX, which I recommend to every single person watching. Buy a TRX. We'll talk about it in another video. TRX is very, very chashuv. You guys know TRX? We'll talk about it. TRX. Yeah. Really? It's what the SEALs use.
My pops.
Navy SEAL. Yeah.
Wow,
it's good stuff. You're very much involved in the physical world. And furthermore, the Ramah paskins that when should you build your sukkah? Motzi Yom Kippur. You've barely had enough time to come home, make havdalah, maybe eat a little something. You haven't eaten for 26 hours, but you can't have a big meal. And then go build your sukkah. What do you mean? It's 10 o'clock at night. Yeah, what are you waiting for? Time to build a sukkah. Sukkah is labor. You're involved. You're getting working muscle groups that, it's more than just. That's why I'm not the biggest fan of like the classic gym situation. Besides my visit to Gold's Gym back in Venice Beach, but just the regular like, ooh. Okay, so what can you do in life? Okay, you can do this. Ooh. Yeah, so what did you get? Life is not that. Ooh, your kids are gonna be this way and that way, they're gonna be all over the place. You need to have elliptical stuff. TRX. Okay, we'll talk about it. Sukkah building, that's like every which position, and you're going down and you're nailing and drilling and everything. Around Sukkah time it's great because everyone becomes like a shtickle handyman. My wife knows it's my favorite time of year because I take out the power drill and it's so good. Just using a power drill is just, you just feel you're building things, you're doing things, you're accomplishing things. Even during the year, if it's like something I could use with like a simple screwdriver. Don't worry, let me get the power drill for this one. She's like, do you need the power drill for this? It's a power drill, for sure. Put like a coat rack in that could really just be, screwed in. A power drill, really, you gotta do this right. So on Sukkot, it's like, it's mamish, me'ein olam haba. So Reb Nachman says something interesting. You have to look at the good. Weiter in Reish Pei Beis. V'chein sarcha adam limtzoi gam be'atzmai. Those are words of gold. And a person also has to look and find good in himself, not just in other people, but good in himself. Ki zeh yedua. The matter is well known. Shit sarcha adam lizar me'oid. A person has to be very careful. Liyos b'simcha tamid. Rabbi Nachman's whole way is that Jews should be happy all the time. And a person should push away the horrible D word, depression, at all costs. For us, we never enter that zone. There's a big difference between depression and what's called a broken heart. We'll talk about a broken heart's actually a very, very positive feeling. It's something that we believe in. It's something that can actually make you grow tremendously. Like the Kotzker Rebbe said, there's nothing more whole than a broken heart. There's a very big difference between a broken heart and depression. Depression is something that is outside of our realm. It's like, red tape, the red zone. But a broken heart is a very, very, very beautiful thing. We'll talk about how to develop that in the Tanya. We're going to talk about that a lot. He's going to dedicate 3 chapters to depression and understanding sadness and actually how to use sadness in the right way. Especially in Rabbi Nachman's world, depression has no place, and simcha is the overarching lifestyle of us, of the Jew, and of all of humanity, is to teach Jews how to be leibedik. How to have a general feeling when you see somebody, you should be a leibediker, a happy person. Yeah.
Being sad, being depressed, and feeling for stuff, right?
Yes, sad is more what we're going to call broken-hearted, which can actually be extremely positive.
Never feel sad ever. It's just going to come out in like one big shot. Just repressing those emotions.
So like we said, sadness and depression, we're going to call sadness more like brokenheartedness. And there's a place for them. Brokenheartedness is very, very useful in certain contexts. It has to be in specific areas and times and places. If a person just becomes sad all of a sudden, like at work, so the Balatanya's example is you're at work and like you're vulnerable and there's other things around and okay, so there's going to be specific ways to harness sadness to be used in a healthy way. Yeah.
What exactly do you mean when you say you're putting a red tape around depression?
Like a red zone. It's an area that we never go into.
Like halachically or?
Yeah, and hashkafically. It's an area that we're going to see if people have descended into it, we're going to have to pull them up by their payas. Don't worry, we'll get them out. Don't worry. And even if you think you don't got payas, we'll find something there. I mean, not going to find the inner payas. We'll schlep you up. So don't worry, we have techniques to pull a guy out. But now going forward in my life, we live with a belief system that the overarching way of a person in this world should be a way of happiness. And working on happiness, developing happiness, being around happy people, learning Torah that's building up happiness. Likutei Hashem Yishar Mesamchei Lev. It says the happiest is when a person learns Torah, especially the inner dimension of Torah. Makes you happy. You learn Torah, you get a little bit, it's Bishma. Now the presidential debate's also pretty good, but I'm not happy at least. But it definitely, Torah, you start learning it, especially in happy settings, around a vibe of happiness, especially Rabbi Nachman. And you stick with this. A person develops certain qualities of happiness. And it's something that builds. It's something that you could work on. You could work on being a great violin player. And you could also work on becoming more happy. And a person, especially for you guys at this time, I want you to think about in your life, if someone were just to stop you on the street, and ask you, and the street could be just like the lunchroom downstairs, and ask you, what are you working on right now in your life? Especially for people in yeshiva, and really for everyone around the world. You should be able to answer this. I'm working on simcha. I'm working on this area of tefillah. I'm working on my anger. I'm working on giving more time to my children. And then even within that, it should be more delineated, using goal-setting technology, being able to say exactly what I'm doing and trying to make it precision-based. But you should not just be going through life generally, showing up to shir. You should start to think to yourself, what am I actually working on now? And many of the tzaddikim said for our generation, one of the most important things to work on is simcha. As something you could work on becoming a great violin player, or a great debater, or a great moderator. Even though the moderator was like a debater. Al Kapanim. So the question is, what am I working on? And for our generation, it's a great thing to work on simcha. Great, it's one of the best ways to get ready for marriage, because your wives are going to need you to be that strong voice of simcha in the home. And a great way to start is Rabbi Nachman. So Rabbi Nachman says, we push away depression and we live with simcha. Like we've already explained many times, says Rabbi Nachman. Afilu kishematcha listakel ba'atzmai. And he says, so I'm trying to find the good inside of me. I'm trying to find all that good inside of me. And I see, I see, come on, I don't have so much good. I've been, just bumming around my life. I don't see so much good. Rabbi Nachman is speaking to the lowest common denominator also. People who maybe are down and out, really. So you're going to say, I try to see the good in me, but I don't know, there's no good. But who malach hatoim? And the guy's, let's say he's been involved in all sorts of stuff. Not such good things. His whole life. And the Baldavar, you know what that is? The Yetzer Hara, our old friend. The Yetzer Hara, that old foolish king. So the Yetzer Hara comes to him and says, oh, I got a good hangout, a nice smoke bar, smoke lounge. It's called depression. Come join me, my friend. Yeah, it's good over here. Yes, it'll be good for you. Come on over. Umar Shchayra. Umar Shchayra means bitter, dark. He comes. Sometimes he puts on a power suit. Hey, come over here. I'll show you something nice. I'll take you to a good place. Come. It's actually cozy over here. On your bed all day long, every day. Netflix has got something to offer you. Come on, it'll be good for you. You deserve it. All these lashinuses. It's good for you. Chas v'shalom. Afal pike. So he's telling you, look at your. Come on, are you really so good? Yeah, but you did that thing and that thing. I know you went to Rabbi Nachman Shir today, and you were learning about seeing the good inside of you and looking at the good. But come on, that's not you. It's not really you. So Nachman says, "Asur loy lipol mizeh." Don't listen to him. Mamish, don't listen. Rak tzarich lechapes. Start looking. V'limtzoi ba'atzmei eiz ma'atoi. You start looking, and you will find inside of you good. It is in there. You just got to look, and you will find inside of you good. Ki ech efshar shaloi asa miyom of eiz mitzvah idaratoi. It cannot be that you didn't do any good in your life, and therefore start with that. You did something good. You fasted Yom Kippur. Whoo! Unbelievable. Unbelievable. You're amazing. You're amazing. You came to shir right now. Unbelievable. The person's going to be doing a million things. He's choosing right now to listen to a shir, to come and learn Torah. Unbelievable. And then Reb Nachman says, oh, so you're going to look at the good that you're doing, and you know what's going to happen? You're going to start looking at the good. He says, the Yetzer Hara is very tricky. You're going to say, I came to the shir because maybe like I felt bad if I didn't, or the Rebbe saw me, so what am I going to do if I don't go? Or I really just am going because I want to tell my girlfriend that I went, whatever. Or I only fasted Yom Kippur because I'm like afraid of, all sorts of things. So my good, it wasn't really good. It was like good mixed, even the good was mixed with bad intentions. Even the good that he did is mixed with all sorts of bad intentions. So I don't really have good, pure good per se. I don't care. I don't care that even in the good is mixed not good. Is there good? It's the good. Forget about all the other voices. You fasted? You came to learn? Just push away any other thing except for good. This is called Likutei. Just keep looking for the good. Keep looking for the good. All the time good. It's our cousins. All the time you have to look for good. All the time. Yishmal Tshuva, Asher Sham. Ki al kol panim ech shehu. Al kol panim haya ez Likutei be'a mitzvah davar toiv she'asa ki tzarech an l'chapes u'levakesh limtzoi be'atzma ez ma'at toiv. All the time, keep looking for good. Now we say u'levakesh. You tell Hashem, I want to find my good. I know I've got good. And by the way, even when you're davening to Hashem to find your good, that's already good. You're talking to Hashem all the time. Hashem, I just want to be close to you. I want to be close to you. And through this, you're going to come to simcha. You're going to come to big simcha. Always looking for the good. All the time looking for the good. Changing your perspective to look for good, to examine, going inside yourself, looking for good all the time. All the time. What's interesting about Sukkah, Chevron? Sukkah is different than a house. The halacha says, leave your permanent dwelling, go live in a sukkah. Now the Sfarim explain that leaving your house is not just changing domains. It's not a matter of leaving your nice brick stone home and going to sit in a bit of a thatched roof hut. You just have to eat there. You're not just leaving a physical space, you're leaving an entirely new, you're leaving one reality and you're going to dwell in a different reality entirely. What does that mean? So the Sfarim explain, when it comes to a house, what is a person looking for? Essentially, a house is looking for a piece of land. That's what you need to live, a piece of karka, a piece of land, to buy some land. Really, you could live on a piece of land, except for the problem that there's, invaders and there's intruders, and so you got to put some walls up. And really, you could be happy if you just had high walls, but the fact that there's sun and rain and things, so you put a roof on. But really, all you need is a piece of land to just lie down on. The biggest proof of that is that's where we end. A little piece of land, you got your spot. It's real estate. You're buying a piece of real estate. That's why there's such a thing that people buy a piece of real estate in Eretz Yisrael, their gravesite. You own a piece of land, and that's where you dwell. Don't worry, it's a long sleep, but there's going to be resurrection. Baruch Hashem, should be very, very soon. Amen de amen. And all you need is a piece of land. We should all have long lives. Ad Meva Esrim, till 120 years. But when it comes to a sukkah, it's the exact opposite. What's the main part of the sukkah? Is it the ground? When it comes to the sukkah, the main thing in the sukkah is actually what's above you, the schach. really the mitzvah of sukkah. Sukkah comes from the word schrach. Schrach, the thatch, the waste product. You can't even use fruits up there. It's the waste that's just thrown into the field after you harvest the grapes, after you harvest all the wheat. You just throw the waste products up there. That's what makes the sukkah. The most important part about a sukkah is actually what's above you. The only problem is you can't have a piece of schrach floating in the air. Right? Everyone knows basic laws of physics. And therefore, what do you need? You need some walls just to hold up the schrach. But the walls are really, what they call a hechi timtza. They're just in order to keep the schrach up. The schrach is the main thing. That's what it's all about. So when it comes to my house, what's the main thing is the ground. That's what I really want. I need a piece of land. The roof is just in order to make sure that no wind, rain, snow gets in. But when it comes to the sukkah, I don't even need walls. The whole point is to have schrach, to have shade from the schrach. What's the idea here? We'll have to maybe continue this next time. The main idea is when it comes to the year, the main involvement that I have in this world is looking downwards, which means to the gashmius of this world. And it's difficult. I look to a big mansion, a nice place, my bank account. It looks good. It's all good. This world, my security system, all my stuff, my piece of land, it's mine. When it comes to sukkah, you know what I'm doing? When it comes to sukkah, I say, I want to look up. I want to look up to the heavens. That my true identity I thought was my security systems. I thought my true identity was all the money in my bank. I thought my true identity was all the physical world that was around me that I was holding on to. But I need to shift my whole perspective on sukkah. You guys are sleeping in a bunch of thatched roof huts. I put a lock on my sukkah, just like the cats when a kid. It's the funniest thing, a lock on the sukkah. You just it doesn't keep any intruders out. It's like a lock. The walls are like made out of nothing. You can probably blow the sukkah over and a roof you're fine. It's not, because you know the real one that's protecting you. You change your whole perspective to look heavenwards, to look to something above you, to something higher. That's what it means Reb Nachman is saying. You start looking to higher things. You start looking to better things. You start looking to Tov. Tov is never something that's going to be subject to any problems. The higher perspective means there's a good that's pure and pristine. There's a higher place. And therefore there's a mitzvah on sukkahs to look at the schach. Change your perspective. Look upwards. Look to something more than just this world and the problems there within. By looking up, you learn how to even look down and see the good as well. So we should be zeicha to this, to the Likutei Tovos, to see that good, and use the perspective of sukkah to look up at the schach. The main thing of sukkah is the schach. We should be zeicha to this, to the zman simchaseinu, and to be ushering in the shins and kingdom here. Amen.